Hi, this is Mary Beth Harrison with the Dallas Native team with Dave Perry Miller Real Estate. And today I am really happy to have, for several reasons, to have a guest with us. And today it's Glenn Harrison. Yes, you might recognize the last name being the same as my last name because he's my son, as well as home inspector for the last 20 years. And I've been wanting to have him on the show to talk about, I mean, the bane of our existence is home inspections. We sell a house, the buyer's so excited and so happy, and then we do inspections and it's like, oh, it's like all the things that you find. And before I forget to mention it, if you have any questions, and I bet when we're through with this, you will. So just go into the chat box and no, don't go into the Q&A, go into the chat box, and our eagle eye Candace Barnes will be watching over and give us our questions. And if it pertains to what we're talking about right then, go ahead and interrupt us, and if not, we'll take the questions at the end and we'll go through all of them. So Glenn, welcome first of all, and I'm going to give y'all one caveat to this whole thing is unfortunately he is no longer in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He's now down in South Padre Island and Harlingen and Brownsville. So unfortunately, getting him in your house is going to be a little bit difficult unless you're moving down that direction. So, all right, let's talk about inspections. It's just so hard because sellers, of course, are thinking, my home, you're telling me my child can't write or is ugly or doesn't color in the lines. I mean, you're not there to say you've got a beautiful home and everything's fine. You're there to tell us, I call you the bad news bears. You're there to tell us what's wrong. So inherently your inspection comes off as a total negative when in fact, that's not what the point is. The point is to point out what is defective. So take it away.
So first of all, good afternoon. My name is Glenn Harrison, and I've been a home inspector for 20 years now. Been in the building trades since I lied about my age when I was 14 to get my first construction job. And yes, my mother would drop me off about a half mile from the job site so I could walk to the job site, and the guys thought that I had a car. So that's kind of where it all started. I don't know how you guessed, but the actual name of my company is Bane of My Existence Home Inspections. I just changed it from Harrison Home Inspections. After all these years, I found out I was the bane of someone's existence. That's awesome. I will be happy to answer your questions here, or my telephone number is 214-535-8397, and you can call me at any time to ask questions. FaceTime me from my house if you have problems up until about 10 o'clock at night, because at 10:01, I'm probably not answering. So I think we're going to talk a little bit today about some of the obvious things that home inspectors run into that we're surprised that sellers haven't addressed to get ready for the home inspection. And then we'll look at it a little bit from the buyer side. Is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, I do. I want to put on the seller's hat and I want to put on the buyer's hat so that everyone understands kind of how we look at things from both eyes, Yeah.
Yeah. So from a seller's side, just like kicking the tires or lifting the hood on a car and we all stand there and look at the engine like we know what we could do if it broke down and like, oh, that looks incredible. The very first thing that someone does when they come up to your house to look at it is press the doorbell. And when that doesn't work, their radar is on. Their radar's on yellow, and now their radar's on red. So fix the doorbell, make sure it works. Have all the lights work. If a light switch is a mystery switch, mark it. That says, we don't know what this switch has done, and we don't know what it's done for 20 years. It just saves, I call it background chatter, and the amount of background chatter that you can alleviate before someone comes to look at your house or even inspect it, once they put a contract, the better. That way, if there are a few key things, then that's a legitimate discussion as opposed to just getting their hackles up because there's a lot of words written on their inspection report.
I say that often to my sellers as well. And I'm going to mention, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, I am really big on doing a pre-sale inspection. Have the seller do an inspection on their own home to stop, get rid of the little things, the things that are easy to fix, that even the seller could fix it, putting a plate on a plug that the plate's been gone for 20 years. Go buy a 19-cent plate and put it on there. It's things. I'm like you. Let's stop as much of the conversation as we can stop from the beginning so that you can focus on what the big things are. So yeah.
So living in South Padre Island now and being a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, one of the things that he says in one of his books is a good sailor anticipates, he doesn't just react. A good seller does the same thing. Anticipate, don't react. Even to the point of